Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talking Shit. No, wait, that's not right.
All right, folks. Hey, so this is actually a pre-stream that we're gonna do because we need to test a few things. And let's see. It's all right. I believe that I screwed up the time because it's actually in an hour, but we've kind of noticed that there is something going on with the notifications. And that's just not for this channel. There are other YouTube content creators, quote unquote, that have been telling people that there is an issue where people won't get their notifications until almost an hour later, or in most cases, not at all. So we are trying to see exactly what's going on here. So this is an opportunity for us to kind of test it, given the influx of new subscribers and some older subscribers. We kind of have a pretty good idea on who should be getting the notifications, especially if they've clicked the bell icon and they've hit the all button on there. So, but anyway, how are you all doing today? I am the guy behind the scenes that you have seen before, and this is JD Kain, our host today. And we will have on Alex Malpass in about an hour. And looks like at least one person got notification, so that's good. So we will actually probably delete this one and start a new one that will be for the actual time in about an hour from now. And it will be going over the Grim Reaper paradox. And JD, you said you've read a bit about it, right?
Can't say I understand it too well, but I will give it a shot, and hopefully Alex will elucidate the issue.
Okay, let me see.
Elucidate, illuminate, all of that'll work. He'll tell us shit about it.
There we go. Okay.
So yeah, that's right. His blog.
Yeah, he actually has a blog. For those of you who don't know, Alex does have a blog, and you can actually read about it. Let me actually share this out here with folks so you guys can see. There we go. So if you want to kind of become familiar with it, Alex gives an introduction. He gives certain responses to it. There's actually, I think, at least two versions of it that are popular. And there's, of course, there are the where are they? Citations. I thought he had citations. Or they might be in-text citations. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, they're in-text. So yeah, these are in-text citations to the actual papers that he references, and they're actually fairly recent. So what's going on, folks? So this is a test for those of you just kind of tuning in. We will be going live in an hour. I take responsibility for screwing up time, but we are also checking out to see what's going on with the notifications, because given the influx of new subscribers and older subscribers, people have reported to not get the notification until afterwards. So if you haven't already, make sure that the bell icon is checked and that it is on all, because we're trying to figure out exactly what's going on. And in some cases, people have noticed that they've been unsubscribed from certain channels. Actually, in my case, there's a few channels that I knew that I was subscribed to, but for some reason I wasn't any longer, which is even more odd. But there's lots of things happening on YouTube that are strange, to say the least. And let's see here. Let's see. Actually, we can put the link out here for those who just kind of want to come in and chat. There we go. Let's see here. Pre-stream. All right. So I'll try to skip past some of this stuff. So basically, Alex is thinking about the Grim Reaper's paradox. Evidently, January is dry January. I'm not familiar with that. Maybe that's a UK thing. I don't know. But he has a lot of time to think now. So given that, he is going over something called the Grim Reaper paradox, and it's about the infinite future debate between a guy named Morstan and looks like Craig. And let's see, it's inspired from a paper from, let's see,
Proust wrote an article on it, and then
yeah,
what's
that
his
was
name?
much
William Lane
older.
Craig has also talked about it. I believe he thinks it's useful for Kalam.
The Proust guy, his paper was much older than 2015, I believe. I'm trying to find the citation for that one because he references Cohen and I think Proust here. And there's another guy, and I'm probably looking right at it, but Yishai Cohen wrote a paper, The Endless Future, a Persistent Thorn in the Kalam Cosmological Argument, and it is here. Oh, well, you can download. Okay, here it is. So, penultimate draft. So this is where kind of goes over the exchange between Craig and Morriston. But you guys can feel free to read this. I actually put this out there too. If you guys want to get familiar with it, there you go. It is, I've read it. I read this, right, and I've given a little feedback. Not really my area, but it is interesting. It is definitely interesting. I'm not really sure what, like, these, when we start talking about infinities, I instantly go to math. So any point of reference for me for this is just, it's, again, it's purely mathematical. I'm not, like, me conceiving of reality and the grim reapers that would appear a minute after midnight to kill somebody, and then like uh 30 seconds before that, and then 15 seconds, and you just keep cutting it in half, and then passing letters to each other, or I guess death warrants to each other, rather, not letters. But I don't know, JD, what did you think about these illustrations?
Well, let me see him again. Hold on a sec. I had to read through it again, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hope we go through his article as well as his own any new views he has. This might actually, I said this might be a short Magic Sandwich show, but it might actually be a lengthy one if we really go through this thoroughly.
yeah, we could. I'm trying to get people in. A few theists in. I've uh, text somebody, and they've not gotten back to me. They said they wanted in about, or like, since Monday, and I've not heard from them since. There's a few other people express interest, but I don't think they'll be able to make it. So, and I'm not sure if it's bad timing or what, but it is in the middle of the day for most folks, and that's kind of one of the difficult things when you have guests in drastically different time zones. Because right now we're just here, folks. We're just talking, and I also wanted to see who's getting the notifications. Let's see. Actually, okay. So let's see. Heretic saying the bit about the infinite number of Grim Reapers adds a strange concept, as if these entities are running around and about to zap people as long as some other Reaper hasn't already done so. But then somehow it's impossible for a new Reaper to do it. I don't get it yet. So there's a stipulation in place for them to be able to kill. So the Grim Reapers can't kill indiscriminately. They can only kill if the job has not been already done, if that makes sense. So if there's a guy that's supposed to die, like after midnight, right? Then there's a Grim Reaper, like we'll say, quote unquote, the first Grim Reaper is supposed to kill him 1 minute after midnight. That guy needs to die. Now, if no Grim Reaper has already done it, like he's the first in line as the last line of defense. I know that sounds strange, but just so I'm trying to think of a better way to illustrate it. He is the wall, right? this guy cannot live a minute past midnight. He's supposed to die sometime like right after midnight, but the longest he could ever go conceivably is a minute after, because that one can and will kill him without fail if he's not already dead. That's the stipulation. Now, the way that this kind of works is that these Grim Reapers communicate evidently by passing death warrants between one another, and so that's how each one of them knows that he hasn't been killed. Because if you get one of the warrants, then guess what? Hey, so there's an infinite amount of time, because it's supposed to be a minute after the minute after midnight. If no other Grim Reaper has killed him, if he's not dead, then that one kills him. But there's another Grim Reaper, right? That is 30 seconds after midnight. And then 15 seconds after midnight. And then you keep dividing that infinitely. So which Grim Reaper kills him? So that it's kind of hard to conceive, but if you think about it, and Dr. Malpass goes over it, because there's a few different ways of looking at it, because then it took me a while to kind of conceptualize, but now I'm kind of now starting to get it. But there's another point in which I think it's further down. Hold on. They add in a god. So not only do gods exist as far as supernatural entities exist as far as Grim Reaper, but also God exists in this realm, and God's omniscience plays a role in this whole thing. And so God supposedly knows where this guy is supposed to die at, or which Grim Reaper, or something of the sort. So it gets kind of muddied down in at least my very, very layman opinion, as far as what things can be added to this in order for it not to clash too much with the Kalam. That's kind of how it comes across to me, but I may be wrong. So let me see if I can find a succinct version, because there's like I said, there's at least two different versions put forth here, and Malpass's blog here. Let me find the first version that doesn't include God, because there's two I think contradictions he says it's in these issues, or in the responses to it rather. Hold on. All right, so let me just kind of read this out if you can't see it. Okay, I see your message, JD. All right. Cohen agrees with Morstan that if a beginningless past is an actual infinite, then so is an endless future, and thus, if a beginningless past is impossible for being an actual infinite, so an endless so is an endless future. Jesus. Cohen also argues that if the Grim Reaper argument shows that the past has to be finite, then a parallel version shows that the future must have an end as well. His argument is critiqued by Jacobus Erasmus in a paper called Cohen on the Kalam Cosmological Argument, 2016. Erasmus' rebuttal is that Cohen's version of the Grim Reaper argument presupposes that it is possible for God to actualize an ungrounded causal chain, which can be plausibly denied. And then he says, I think that the dry eternity paradox escapes Erasmus's reply. And so this is the part that I was talking about. There's actually two versions of the Grim Reaper paradox. And I watched the video, and I think I'd found, it might have been, I think I found William Lane Craig's version of the Grim Reaper paradox. Okay. So let's see here. Suppose that a temporal series of past events is actually infinite, and that an actual infinite number of Grim Reapers exist. All right. Suppose also that at each past moment in time, a unique Reaper was assigned to issue a death warrant if no previous Reaper had already issued a death warrant. And this is what I was talking about as far as which one is going to be able to kill this guy. And that's this puts the citation there. All right. This results in a contradictory state of affairs. Firstly, for all times, let's see, T of n, or that's not T of n, T sub n, excuse me. There must have been a warrant issued prior to T sub n. That's because if no warrant had been issued by T sub n minus 1, and that's the event beforehand, would issue their warrant, resulting in a warrant going prior to T sub n. So let me see. Nicola says here, there's an infinite series of half units of time between midnight and a minute past midnight, and a Reaper assigned to each moment. Reaper in 1 assigned to, and that's the one I referenced earlier, a minute past midnight, and N2 is at 30 seconds, and let's see, after midnight. N3 is 15 seconds, and so on and so forth. So yeah, this is the illustration of what I was talking about before. But there's an infinite there are infinite slices. So if you keep cutting those in half, those time hacks in half, that spans of infinite time are where these Grim Reapers reside. So, which one of them actually kills him is the question, because remember, he can't live past a minute after midnight. So, but yeah, that's going to be somewhat of a summation of what's going to be discussed. So right now we're about 20 minutes. So I'm just kind of curious to see how many people get the notifications. In the meantime, if you want to come in and discuss this, because this is, like I said, this is just somewhat of an open discussion. Come back at about, I would say 40 minutes, folks, and we're going to be going. And we're not going to do too long, maybe about an hour, a little over an hour discussion with Dr. Alex Malpass. If you have questions, please come with questions, because it did take me a bit to kind of conceptualize what's going on here. Once you get the basis for what's happening here, it makes sense. It's just taking half units, prior to that point of a minute past midnight, and then trying to understand that in relation to the Kalam cosmological argument, because one of the issues that I've heard certain theists put forth, because there's various forms of Kalam about having an actual infinite set is going to be an issue, and you need to have that uncaused cause in order to act as the primary moving force for everything. So how would blank time play into that? Time isn't infinitely indivisible, the smallest possible unit time. I'm not too sure. That's kind of the questions that I ask. How does this play into what we know about physics, or what we believe we know about physics? Not too sure. Not really my area of expertise, but it would be interesting to hear someone with a background in physics. Actually, I might be able to contact somebody. His area is plasma physics, but I'd imagine he knows a bit about that. But it's interesting to play around with the idea, because I know quite a few theists that utilize Kalam as part of their reason for why they believe. So all right, folks. So in about 40 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and start this up again, and we're going to try and do this right. And I'll definitely double check to see if everybody's ready ahead of time. All right, so come with questions. I'll be in Discord. And we're thinking about making a Magic Sandwich Show Discord, and I'll mention this on the actual stream in about 40 minutes to see if that's something that people want. So I don't really want to go through the thing of trying to get that all set up if there's not going to be activity in it. So anyway, we'll see. All right, folks, thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here in about 40 minutes.